Yeah.
My favorite.
It's Judd's Hockey Show.
And it's not just Judd's Hockey Show, it's the Tuesday extravaganza. Jessi Pierce, AJ Fredrickson, yours truly, Judd Zulgad. So much to discuss as we get to the last week, basically, of the season. So much going on. The Wild had a big win a couple days ago against Dallas, but then Calgary beat San Jose on Monday. So just 4 points separate the last team in the wild card, which is the Wild, from the Flames. But before that, I want to shout out our friends at Padraigs. I've been telling you about their red beer constantly, but I want to share something else with you. I want to share this one. That is Patty's Premium. This beer, delicious. Delicious. And now you're saying, okay, Sports Dad, that's great, but where can I possibly get it? I'm going to tell you right now, Padraigs is the place that you can get it. And here's the thing. While you're there, win Sports Dad front row tickets for our Purple Daily Draft Party, April 24th at the Fillmore. Jessi and Age will be there as well. It's going to be a great time. Stop by the Padraigs Tap Room and sign up to win between now and April 20th. It is in the old Lando Nod Factory at the corner of Broadway and Central Avenues Northeast. Again, Patty's Premium. Go in there, get it. You can buy a 6-pack. You will not be sorry. And also, get those front row tickets that you can win for our April 24th draft party at the Fillmore. All right, Jessi Pierce, you are at Tria, right? Not the X.
No, we're at
the
X.
You're at the X.
They had team pictures today. Everyone smiled pretty.
Oh, team pictures. Okay, what are the updates, including, because there has been speculation the Wild will play the Sharks themselves on Wednesday night at the X. What is the update on the return of Kirill Kaprizov? Because it's been speculated he might be back for that game.
I think it's going to be up to Kirill. Now, both Kirill and Eriksson on the ice for a full team practice today. They took contact for the first time in a team setting. So that's where I kind of get a little iffy as to if it's enough, because we certainly know members on the San Jose squad are not going to let up. You definitely aren't going to get an easy opponent with Anderson, who's going to be looking to run everybody on Friday, right? So it's a little concerning looking at the opponents, especially looking at that Calgary game Friday. But John Hines, of course, gave us kind of the very vague, we're going to check in with them. It was good. They didn't hesitate. But to be fair, there was only one battle drill. They certainly battled hard, but that was it. The rest of it was fairly non-contact in jest. So it's good to see them out there. They were with Brandon Gauntz as well during line rushes. So that's also telling to say, I'm going to guess that that's not
Kirill,
a line moving
get
forward.
me the F off this line.
Just grabbing
Very
Hines by the
possible.
collar after practice. Don't ever put me on a line with that guy.
It was a tough look. It was a tough look. But yeah, so they did take contact again. I kind of am teetering toward not returning tomorrow as much as I thought that previously. I just, the way it looked today, maybe not for
Both
either
of them? Both of them not?
Yeah, for either. Yeah.
So do you think now that they're at the same place? Like, are they both, when they do return, do you think they return as a package now? Package deal?
I think it maybe depends on what the outcome of the San Jose game is, because that changes the direction of Friday a little bit against Calgary. I mean, it's a back-to-back, so that's already iffy to have those guys in that situation of a back-to-back as they're returning. And to take them on the trip, too, is going to be very telling, because you don't have the ice. You're not going to be able to skate. It's not going to do them any good to be on that trip. But do you have them come back? These are all just thoughts in my head. I would say Eriksson Ek at this point in time is more valuable, right? Like, I think I want his value a little bit more than Kaprizov's.
Boy, that's a tough. Like, I mean, if Kirill is returning as Kirill, then I guess I disagree with you. But I don't know what you're going to get. I think it's going to be easier for Eriksson Ek to return with his style of play, like as far as just doing that, than it will for Kirill, because there's so much skill with him. But it's a tough.
I miss the net front presence. I just need it back in my life. And as much as I love watching Kirill do his thing, I need Ek's net front presence back. And I think it just, he can handle some of that physicality more. I'm more worried too. You got to look ahead at Kirill's contract extension and the injury as it pertains to him. Like, I think Ek might be better suited for a return before Kirill. But again, that's all my own opinion too. I don't know anything that would indicate either or.
Based on what you saw today and heard, percent chance that we see them before the end of the regular season, we at least see them in game for by the Anaheim game, the final game of the season, or is there a chance we don't see either of them until the postseason?
I think you could see them both against the Ducks. I think that's looking more like a realistic possibility. If you get a practice in on Thursday, and again, I don't know if they will for sure practice or if that's a travel day for them. They have yet to be determined. Right now, it's on the schedule as a practice day. If you get a full team practice in on that day and you decide to take both of them on the trip, then yes, that means they're going to return some point on that trip, probably against Vancouver on Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. If they do not go on the trip, obviously that means that they're not playing in those two games. They're not playing against San Jose. But why not play them against Anaheim? If you're in fact in the playoffs, again, then it depends on the playoff situation too. If you're not in the playoffs, then what does it matter anyway? So there's so many moving parts that frankly shouldn't be moving. Like also Marc-Andre Fleury, when does he get to have his kind of final hurrah? There's that to be considered too, because Minnesota has put themselves in such a precarious situation as it pertains to needing to win games. But then what does it matter if you're not playoff bound anyway? So I would say for sure by the Anaheim game, if things continue trending, unless they're not in the playoffs. And then in that case, why bother?
Boy, okay, that is a lot. So do we think that Fleury plays tomorrow against the Sharks?
So we asked today, and usually John Hines has been very upfront in saying, yep, it's Gus. And he hasn't held that back from us at all for any reason. But he did say they haven't decided yet, because I do think they're probably looking at it as an organization of how do we do right by Marc-Andre Fleury and get him a good home game, right. But how do we also win? It's again, a predicament that I'm sure they don't want to be in. Philip Gustafsson has been in such a rhythm at playing the way that he has and the consistency he has. And Marc-Andre Fleury is certainly a guy that understands that and understands where they're at. And obviously Flower is going to get one of those games on the road, probably that Vancouver game. But it does sound like there is a possibility you do see Marc-Andre Fleury tomorrow. Again, if not tomorrow, Anaheim, hopefully, right?
Hopefully you're secured your spot by then, which again, to your point is not a given. Now I did see, I think just that this was after the Dallas game on what, Sunday. And I think that you were still in the Stars room, but there was an interesting thing. So after the game, Flowers at his locker and Hines came and got him and took him around the corner to talk to him. And it seemed like it didn't seem like a normal, I think he wanted to tell him something. And I wonder if that was, you're going to start against the Sharks. See, the one thing I will say is this. I think Gus starts back-to-back games. I think he starts the Flames and Canucks. I don't think they go, so I think there's a better chance they go Flower against the Sharks and then go back-to-back on Gus. Again, a total guess on my part.
Yeah, no, Hines kind of indicated, but Hines indicated even today, he's like, well, and this weekend's a back-to-back, kind of telling us well, obviously Flower's going to play in the back-to-back. So that's right. But I agree. You drop that game to Calgary, then you need to throw everything you can at their last two games, right? In order to control.
Yeah, but my math might be wrong, but if they win tonight against San Jose and you win Friday, you automatically lock up
in.
Spot. Because that,
I believe so.
The most that they could then get to, I think, is 95 points. But even if they match that 95 point total, you guaranteed or more regulation wins, so you're in. So if they just win these next two, Saturday against the Canucks really doesn't mean anything. Anaheim next Tuesday doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
So you have to beat the worst team in hockey tonight, which how this team has been going. You beat the Capitals, you beat the Stars, but then you lose to some of these lowly teams. It's really not out of the cards tonight. You just have to play your style of hockey. But then Friday night, that is Saturday night, right?
No, Friday,
Saturday. So it's Wednesday,
Canucks,
Friday,
Canucks
Saturday.
Canucks are Saturday, yeah.
So Friday night.
And Sharks is Wednesday.
That's right.
Yes.
Calgary, Friday night, that is the most important game here for the next coming week. You have to win that one. Otherwise, if you lose that, then that Anaheim next Tuesday probably matters. And then who knows what they do goaltending wise. Do you force a Kirill and Ek in if they're not necessarily green lit ready? Who knows? These next two games are massive.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go through this too. So here's what's left now. So as I said, the Wild won against the Stars on Sunday 3-2. So that at the time put them 6 points up on the Flames. The Flames came back then on Monday night and beat the Sharks at the Shark Tank 3-2. So what is left is this. The Wild has 91 points in 78 games. They're 2 behind the Blues for the 7th spot, which is obviously a wild card. They are 4 up on the Flames, who have 87 points. The difference is the Flames have a game in hand at 77. The Wild has the Sharks left on Wednesday, Calgary on Friday, which to Age's point is akin to a playoff game. Saturday, the Canucks, and Tuesday, the Ducks. The Flames they play the Ducks in Anaheim on Wednesday, obviously play host to the Wild on Friday. Then on Sunday, they play the Sharks at home again. So the Sharks become this odd equation of importance. And then on let's see here, on Tuesday, so a week from today, the Flames play host to the Golden Knights again. But then on the 17th of April, Jess, they get the Kings in Los Angeles because of the game that got delayed by the wildfires. And so that game has the possibility, if it becomes important, of the Kings being locked into their spot, right? And now the Kings are locked in. They rest guys, and they basically give 2 points to the Flames, which, depending on what takes place here with the Wild, could be disastrous. So the key game here is if you screw around and don't win on Friday, I think you make things far more interesting than they need to be at this point.
So 10 possible points left on the board for the Kings. If they win out, right? They can get
for the
10
Flames.
Points.
Yes.
For the Flames, excuse me.
Yeah, 10
points for the Wild.
Correct.
If they win out.
If
so it'd be 97. The most points Calgary can get is 97.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if the Minnesota Wild win out, the most they can get is 99. So basically, how do we find the match? It's the magic number 6.
I'm really bad at math. I'm going to.
It's 6. It's 6 points, but there's a 4 point. But the 4 point swing on Friday.
But you have a 4 point swing on Friday.
So the Wild. The thing about it too is no matter if they win out, the Flames win every single game, all 5 of their remaining ones. They match the Wild's current regulation win total. So they're not going to have any tiebreaker. The Wild, if they just either match or tie point wise, they're in. That's all that matters.
Right.
So,
Okay.
But still, this
still probably just win a game, just win.
Right. But just win.
You win Friday.
But the problem is this. In the past, 6 or 7 Wild games, their best games have come against the Washington Capitals and Dallas Stars, who are really good teams.
So does that
but
mean
besides that, they've puttered around. They blew 2 points on Friday night. The Islanders aren't good. They had lost 6 consecutive games. So that's where the concern, right? Because you should trounce the Sharks. You should absolutely destroy them. But I don't trust them. And the Calgary game is going to have pressure. Again, on the road, you've been good there, but as of late, not as good. So unfortunately, I don't think that this is near crystal clear cut as it should be because of all the points of late that you've puttered away by not playing up to or above, I should say, the competition you're facing, i.e. Islanders, the Rangers. Go through that list.
I do think that win against Dallas was a turning point just for the mentality in the room. I think they definitely needed that. And I do love Matt Boldy's quote, to me really sticks out in particular, on how he had mentioned that there were no passengers tonight, which indicates that there had been passengers in recent games, right? So I think that it could be a really good energy booster. And now that's the other thing. You get Kirill and Ek back. It's a boost of energy that you possibly need too. So, I think as much as the Wild wants to pretend that they're not looking at the standings or just taking a game at a time, how can you? I mean, you gotta be dialed in. You gotta do everything you can. So, that's kind of where we're at. I think somebody's trying to get into this room.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let them in if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll just pop you off the screen for a sec while you. But really quick too with that, Judd, is I'm sure there's people listening, watching this that are you guys are only talking about just getting in. They still have the wild card 1-2 seedings very much in the standings. They have a game in hand on the Blues, who are up on them by 2 points only.
And finally lost.
Finally, my God, what was it, 12 or 13 in a row for them?
I think it was 12.
Just an insane run of hockey.
Beat them.
Yeah, so it took a really good team. But the wild card 1-2 seeding is very much still in play.
Yep.
Flames, I think, are able to, like, the Blues would have to lose out, but the Flames, if they get in, are essentially a wild card 2 team, but the Wild and Blues are duking it out for who wants to play Vegas, who wants to play Winnipeg. I'm not saying that the Blues are going to I feel like in the room, they probably wouldn't share this, but each guy probably has a preference of who they maybe would want to play, but there's no way that they're actually bringing that back in here as we bring back Jessi Pearson.
And?
Sorry, it was just Laval, guys. It was just Laval. He was locked out.
Why are you stopping our show for Laval? What are you doing?
I felt bad his poor bag was in here. We had all the media out today. I'm telling you.
Why?
It's that time of year.
Oh, because of the choking? Because of the fact they're choking? So just back to your point, though. So I agree. I think the Boldy quotes were good. Mm-hmm. I thought the Foligno quotes post game were great because he's basically I'm tired of being talked to. I'm tired of talking. But here's where I'm concerned. Was it a turning point, or was it a game in which they played well against a good team? And by the way, I do agree with you. I think the Kirill and Ek thing, if they happen, does provide an instant spark or boost. But it's like this team, and I'm disappointed because this was not the case for the first part of the season. It's like this team needs to be woken up with like a good opponent or this terrible, the East Coast trip to me was inexplicable. I mean, I don't get this. The Devils game I thought was fine because the Devils game here was terrible, but I thought that the shootout loss against the Devils, I had no problem with. Okay. You get a point. Mm-hmm. They're a good team. And I didn't think that you played a terrible game. Okay. So I thought it's all right now. The Rangers, I have no idea what that was. Like the Wild, challenged the Rangers as far as we're going to play as bad defensively as you are, which is totally outside of the Hines structure. And the Islanders game was just a debacle and embarrassment. And then you come back against the Stars. And to me, Jess, what aggravated me was that was the old school. That was the Parise and Suter team. Well, now we're up against it. You're going to see us. We're going to give you our best punch. Well, that's not professional. So I'm very curious now, all anyone is saying is, can you work as hard as you did against Dallas for every game that you have left? If nothing else, for Gus's sake, he deserves it. That guy's played great. And meanwhile, he's got these guys dawdling in front of him, and you don't know on a game-by-game basis what you're going to get. And it really bugs me that they play well against good teams, but then play down to teams that they should beat.
I think you saw that last year a little bit too. I mean, There was more bad than good in general last year, but it felt like the guys gave up this year. They're not giving up. Although, like you mentioned, Judd, the second half, it kind of feels that way a little bit. Like they're just we're exhausted. We're tired. And they are exhausted. I understand that because you're playing with basically two lines in a game because your third and fourth line just really aren't there. You've got Iowa guys that are trying to step up, or you've got other guys that I think should be out of the NHL. I don't need to name names, but I'm just saying.
You can if you want.
Completely scratch the fourth line.
Just go ahead.
I mean, we all know.
Brazo.
Number 13. Now too.
Come on.
But the whole fourth line. Bench the whole fourth line.
Fourth line creates, Jess. They just can't score.
No. They could almost score, though. They could almost.
I know. Well, they do get close.
Didn't even score in practice today, for God's sakes. Jesus Mary. Okay.
Was there a goalie in that? That's important information.
Oh, it was a goalie that hasn't played in a month. Yeah, and they still couldn't score. It was atrocious.
They've got hands of stone. Let's a spade. They have hands of stone. I told you that before.
But they do. You gotta figure it. You gotta hope that they will find and muster into their soul to come out and absolutely put to bed San Jose tomorrow. You don't need to play nice. You don't need to do anything. Absolutely demolish San Jose because that's what they deserve at this point, right? They're already eliminated. Who cares? Macklin Celebrini, their future looks bright, all that, yada, yada. Destroy the Sharks. Feel good heading into Calgary. Calgary is going to be tough, right? That is going to be a very hard game. And again, going back to the Kirill and Ek situation, it would make me very nervous to have these guys come back and play in that Calgary game, because I had mentioned the players before who are going to run guys. Like, that makes me very, very nervous at every single level, every single turn. If the guys had a couple games under their belt, fine. But even if they just get one, no, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of that. That being said, you are going to have to lean on Marcus Foligno to have another awesome game. And I think Foligno's had a really good couple games. I think he's actually done really well on that top line too. And it's exciting to see, but you're going to need that type of play. You're going to need to have Marco Rossi crashing. And you're going to have that net front presence from Matt Boldy. You need that top line to do everything in their power to really create against Calgary. And then round it out. If you win, like we mentioned on Friday, you can kind of relax a little bit. You can breathe. You can let the fun back into your game. I think that's the other thing. They're not having fun right now because of the position that they're in. And it shouldn't be. It's not fun losing. It's not fun having to grind things out and get points. But that's where you're at. So figure it out. Get the wins that you need, and then get back to having fun. And then it's playoff hockey time again.
They have to go back to picking their hard. Remember that?
Yeah, the chain.
Choose your heart. Oh my
Choose
God.
your heart.
Choose your heart. Right, correct.
Losing is hard. Winning is also hard. Choose your heart.
That was one of those 7-1 blowouts, huh?
That's a great point, though. That's a great point. They don't deserve that chain right now.
No,
and they so
give them the soft.
But this is the thing, too, Jess.
I'd be handing those out like candy.
What's that?
A soft chain.
Oh, the soft chain. But the thing about this, too, is, and we saw this on Sunday, that victory was born of really hard work. It wasn't born of skill. I mean, the Boldy goal from the slot where he's literally diving and combines. I mean, that hand-eye coordination's elite there. So this is not to take away the skill, but he was only able to use that skill because he worked his ass off to get there. Like the second goal, Marcus drives down the entire ice, right? He gets the puck. He keeps at it. He scores. Those, to me, like, that's the thing is, in watching the game on Friday, they just didn't work. Like, they had no interest. So this is not a skill thing. This is not a skill being abandoned. But right now, the games are way tougher. And when the playoffs start, they're tougher than that. And to Age's point, he's 1,000% right. That is the choose your hard. Because if you don't want to choose hard, that's fine. But you're going home. And like, that's the thing that is maddening, because I thought this team was past that. And I guess I was wrong. I think certain guys do work hard consistently, but it's certainly not the entire top six, I guess. Because I think the third and fourth lines do work hard most of the time. I just don't think that they've got the talent, especially, to your point, the fourth line.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And exploit your team's weaknesses. I mean, a large part, yes, the Minnesota Wild played a great first and second period too to keep that game within a goal. I mean, you look at the Dallas Stars, their third line is the top line here, right? Like, their third line is Jamie Benn, Wyatt Johnson, and Dadonov. Like, that's a solid third line anywhere else. Yeah. But I think Dallas made the mistake of sagging, and they kind of just laid back in the third period for the second straight game. So I love that Minnesota then said, you know what? All right, we're going to keep going. I mean, do that against some of these lesser opponents too, right? Like, take their weaknesses and turn it around and just keep going. And again, I think it was a complete 60 from Minnesota without question. And I'm not trying to take away from that win at all, but I really love that they exploited Dallas's weakness there in that third when Dallas thought they had, put the game away, and they're like, nope, we're just going to keep coming. So I need more of that aggression a little bit too. I mean, to get outshot, what was it, 40-23 or something? It's 17-4 in the third period alone. Minnesota outshot them. So, I mean, take that and apply that to every single shift and every single period, and you're golden, pony boy. We love it.
Exactly. Why do teams sag? I hate that.
Pete DeBoer seemed very frustrated with it after, because I guess they did the same exact thing against Pittsburgh too. Although, and then I was told explicitly by Matt Duchene that they didn't sag in the third period, and their third periods have always been good.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got in trouble. He wasn't happy with your line of questioning.
Jessi.
He wasn't. I know he wasn't. But
they did.
Right. If Tyler Seguin was there, he would have said nice things to me.
Exactly right.
That's a bad trend for a team to have heading into the postseason.
Yeah, not a great time for that, especially one that is going to Winnipeg on Friday and could take over that number one spot, right? Like, I mean, things are interesting there in Dallas and Winnipeg. I kind of love it.
And that's 4 points there too, because they lost on Saturday afternoon at home to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh, and then you come here And I mean, that was a tough game. But yeah, I thought the fact in the third period, like, here's what I don't get. Why are you protecting a 1-0 lead? Like 1-0's, gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
I find it curious because I think Jake Ottinger, as much as I've always really admired his game, and I think he's a really good goaltender and #1of us, all that good stuff. I think there's been a lot of inconsistencies from him this year. So I do wonder if that's something that they're also playing to, right? Like, I think he can be really, really good, but he can struggle. He's starting to show some of the warts on him too as a young goalie. Not terrible. I mean, certainly would still take him happily.
I was gonna say, I'd take him,
Yeah.
Well, he slammed his stick in the boards or like broke it or something out after the OT loss, right?
I saw that on Twitter. I didn't see it, but obviously because I'm running downstairs, but that's what I'd heard. So
they showed it. They showed it on the broadcast, like mid swing. They just cut away, and I was like, "No, show me the frustration."
I saw it. I think he was probably pissed, if nothing else, by that absolutely moronic, stupid penalty that Robertson took at the offensive blue line on Boldy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you thinking? Like, you clearly tripped him. And you are entering the zone. You don't need to do that there. It was a very bizarre decition.
Especially 3-on-3 when there's so much open ice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just let the play develop. So a couple of more things to get to, but before we do that, it's gorgeous outside. It's getting nice. That means it is golf season, and Jessi wants to tell you about Swing Lab.
Sure do. I got my first round in just the other week, and I was feeling good. Why? Because Swing Lab Performance Center had me teed up, quite literally, with some good practice throughout the offseason. They've got club fittings. Look, my swing is already so much better than what you are watching right now. If you saw that, yikes. But they got putting, they've got leagues, they've got club fittings. Not to mention, you can get a bucket of beers, you can grab some food, bring your friends out, rent a simulator. Swing Lab Performance Golf down in Lakeville. A great time to get some practice rounds in before you hit the greens on the outdoor courses.
Where'd you go? What'd you shoot?
We don't need to talk about.
First round of the year, nobody keeps score, right?
Oh, so we're not going to get the full report?
Say this with full love. I went to Manitou Ridge in White Bear Lake with my father. And you know what? I love my dad, and he has Alzheimer's. And it's only funny because he doesn't know his score. I don't know my score. And we kind of make it up as we go. And we have a good
That's awesome.
there. So we lose a lot. He loses a lot of balls.
For you guys.
But we get a lot of extra strokes in. Yeah.
Good
I did all right, though. Actually, I was pretty happy. My irons were swinging really well, which is usually my weak spot. I can drive and I can putt, but it's always been that in between on the fairway. But I hit them pretty good.
Well, that's awesome.
There you go.
Okay. Last thing 2.0 Line Heathens. So we've got Kirill potentially back at some point in here time, Jeek back as well. Here's what I want to ask though. Now, this week, Marcus Foligno's been pretty good with Boldy, and I think he sort of, at least on Sunday, embarrasses Matt into playing harder. Like I think when Foligno, when 12 looks at 17, he's like, I guess I should turn things up. So what do you think? Let's just say, I don't know, in Calgary, both of those guys return. What do we think the line pairings are, and what do they do this time around with Marcus Foligno?
Am I going first? I'm just pulling up my line. I just want to make sure.
Your light went off. Now it's back on.
It's back on. Now it's off again. Yeah, we're trying. I'm working with what I got. I'm working with the elements here, guys.
It's fine.
You're gonna go with Kirill Kaprizov.
Okay.
You're going to go with Marco Rossi, and you're going to go with Matt Zuccarello because you're going to reunite that, and that's what it's going to be, and we're going to love it. We're going to have fun. Yay.
Okay.
All that good stuff. You're going to go with see, I know I said this last time. I said keeping Johansson up there.
But
no, come on, Jess. Come to my side of this.
Go with what Jessi
You
wants.
do Foligno. Let's go with Foligno. We're going to go with Marcus Foligno on your second line.
Yep.
You're going to do Freddie Gaudreau and Matt Boldy. Excuse me. No, sorry, I forgot Eriksson.
14.
You're going to put Eriksson Ek. Yep.
And Boldy.
Yep. So to reiterate.
On the right wing.
Kirill.
Still.
Rossi,
I kind of love
Zuki,
that line.
Foligno, Ek, Boldy. Love this line.
I love
this
so much.
Line.
That's a playoff line right there.
Johansson, Hartman, Hinostroza.
See,
Trennan.
Yeah, whatever.
Goudreau.
Whatever. Oh, yeah,
Nyquist. Because Nyquist can play on the right?
And then Brazo shore out.
Brazo Shore out.
Yeah. I like this a lot. And that second line, I'll say it again. I think that's a playoff line right there because that's some heaviness.
That top two, the only thing that hesitates for me, but you got to put him somewhere, is Nyquist. I don't know if he can do a fourth line role.
You know what?
You don't care, and I don't care either. But
no, I've decided something. I've decided I was wrong on one thing about the Ghost. I think Ghost Nyquist, if you look since the trade, the PK markedly improved. 4 for 4 on Sunday. I think it was in the last 5 or 6 games, Jess, that they were something like 14 of 16 killed. And Nyquist and Boldy and Gaudreau and Foligno have been really good. So Nyquist deserves to play based on that. So I think as a fourth line wing and then a PK guy, I think it works. I sort of like this a lot.
He doesn't deserve to be. He can't go on the third, score a 5-on-5 goal, man, and do something for me. I mean, you can set the tone.
I am a little bit concerned about this. I've seen it creeping in the last couple of games. I feel like Hartman is lapsing, and he always lapses. He's taking some penalties again. He's turning over the puck. He had oh my God, the turnover that he had that led to an Islanders goal, which was a weak-ass, backhand attempt to clear the zone, inexcusably bad. Dude, you can't do that. You're not good enough to do that, ever. Hartman lapsing worries me because when he's going great guns, he's actually a productive, he's not great, but he's a very productive player. But keep your eye on 3-8 because regression, and it's not regression in that it's not because he's not skilled. So it's not that. It's regression of his mental game. Dumb penalties, clearing attempts, those things you can't lose. And I will say this. I thought, and this is something that I will admit I think about entirely too much, and that is zone exits. I like how Dallas exits. Crisp, skated out, not a bunch of the thing that drives me nuts now is the proliferation of backhanded, weak exit passes that inevitably get picked off, or a backhand pass to the middle of the ice for an exit that is just inviting disaster. That's one thing that will lose you games. That is one thing I would like the Wild consistently to clean that up. Just remember, rule of thumb, you're not good enough to exit like that unless you're 97, and you still have to be careful. But Hartman, to me, I'm a little bit worried. And if he screws up, you know what for him? Fourth line, Gaudreau, third line.
I feel like we're almost poised Friday night, especially with what happened when Calgary came to town last time around, where it got a little chippy there. Are we poised for a Ryan Hartman? Tantrum's not gonna be the right word, but I'd episode.
That's what I'm worried about.
Especially if things fall apart here. Wednesday night, you lose what should be an easy game against San Jose. Now it's like a must-win game in Calgary. They get down early. This regression, I think you're spot on because it's been noticeable. John Hines needs to have a talk with him before sit next to him on the plane to Canada, stare at him. Any wrong move, hey, I'm watching you, Hawkeye.
Jessi, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'd like to say he learned his lesson, right? You'd hope, because Bill Guerin was very vocal about making sure that was. But that game is going to get very feisty. I mean, it's what you love and what you hate. Again, he's his own worst enemy, but he needs to keep it locked in. And I kind of feel like him with Vinny has helped that a little bit. So that's why maybe I'm less concerned, because I do think, yes, while he's regressed, it calms him down, though. Yeah. His old childhood chum.
Yeah. I can't have you, if you're a third line guy, which I think at heart he truly is, I can't have you not getting the puck out of the zone. Along the boards, there is no room for mistakes if you're him, because you're not going to pay it off. So, all right. So we don't know if and when Kaprizov's back. We don't know if and when Eriksson Ek is back. We do know that they're practicing, taking contact, and we do know that if the Wild slips up against the Sharks, in my opinion, they don't deserve a playoff spot. That's what I'm going to tell you right now.
Jake Middleton is ruled out for San Jose, remains day to day. Forgot that. He's a guy. No.
I'm sorry. Can you please just right now call BS?
Day to day.
He is not day to day. He's
Running
not day. He's not day to day. The man's shoulder and neck spiked into the boards. He is not day to day. He is not going to be back.
He did not practice today.
Okay.
Was he there for the team picture?
Yes. I mean, everybody's there for the. He didn't.
Well, they could Photoshop him in. You never know how gingerly did they get him on the outside? Maybe that shoulder doesn't get. Better question fair. And last one for you: did he go fake teeth in or out for the team picture? Because he's got those like 3 that are right in the front.
The flippers, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm sure.
My eyes are very bad, so I can't see anything. They just look like little blobs down there on the ice. But
yeah,
who knows?
Just the next time that Heinze says he's day to day, say, John, that's BS. He's not. He's out for a while.
Well, I do every time I ask, because I asked the Kirill question too. I was like, because he was, and I'm like, is it a possibility then that he plays tomorrow? And I just give him that gleaming smile.
You know what you should say?
Like, maybe you could tell me. What?
The next time he gives you some bogus, like on the Kirill thing, when you knew that he was skating, and then Heinze is like, no, he's not, and then tried to say, well, that's not what I consider to be skating. You should say, you know what, John, you're just like all men. You lie, and walk away.
Oh boy, turn it into that whole thing, huh?
Well, why not?
As well.
Why not?
Yeah,
okay.
End of the season, everybody's
there.
All right, we're
exactly.
done. Jessi, AJ, Judd. We'll talk to you soon on Judd's Hockey Show.